Hey guys, it's Derek here from Pacific Coast Auto, here to talk to you about a 1989 Toyota Mark II. This is a GX81, and this one here was bought from auction for export to the USA from a lovely customer of ours. So this is a rear-wheel drive sedan coming with a twin turbocharged inline 6-cylinder 2-liter engine, which is a little bit strange these days. You don't see too many 6 cylinders in the 2-liter range, let alone twin turbo ones. But because of what Japan did with their emissions regulations and the extra costs of engines over 2 liters, you ended up with some really cool, quirky 2-liter turbocharged engines, and the 80s was all about twin turboing in Japan. And so this is the precursor of the 1JZ, which then kind of spawned on the 2JZ that everybody knows about. This one here, 185 horsepower out of 2-liter turbo, under stressed, possibly due to the world's narrowest intercooler piping. Not really meant to be a performance engine, just a really nice engine suited to a really nice vehicle, really nice body, really nice chassis. This one here has a 5-speed manual, which is pretty rare for one of these. Most of them were automatics when they were sold brand new, and the manuals have a lot of times been taken up as drift cars because they are fantastic cars for drifting. Generally easy to do an engine swap because it runs the same chassis as the JZX80. Later on in this vehicle's generation cycle, they got the 1JZ engine as the first car to ever get that. And this is going to be a purchase walk-around video of this vehicle, and so we're going to look at the condition of the car compared to the vehicle's auction inspection sheet, and I'll translate that for you. So these engines, you have to be a little bit careful for blown head gaskets. This one appears to be good. You do want to make sure that your coolant system is in order. It has a nice big radiator in it, but make sure that you change your fluids. Intercooler here. Ooh, front mount intercooler on a car from the 80s. That's stock. And twin turbo, parallel turbos in this. I've driven one. I think that they drive nicely. You can get this engine also with a supercharger, which is a little bit fun, in the Toyota Crown, but the supercharger one only puts out 170 horsepower, and then they used these all the way until like the mid-2000s, this same engine. I think from the mid-80s to the mid-2000s in the Altezza, in the AS200 version of the Altezza. Aftermarket air filter here, aftermarket suspension, aftermarket wheels, aftermarket exhaust, and steering wheel, and everything else is stock. So coolant looks good. Oil, you're going to want to change the oil when you get it. It looks a little bit low, and it's a good idea to just change that anyway. And then timing belt changed according to this sticker here. It says it was changed at 97,257. I don't think this is an interference engine, so if you're okay with having your car stop on the side of the road, it's not going to destroy it if it eats its own cam belt, I believe. Check into that before you rely on me for your information, and change the cam belt anyway. It's a nice thing to do. Oh, and somebody polished these because they're not usually smooth like that. So someone took like a wire brush and then polished them. Makes it look cool, a little bit more modern, I guess. Usually it has kind of that pot metal look to it, like this. Like it's usually a little bit bumpy. Yeah. But cool. Good on Toyota to do their twin cam engines in the 80s. Everybody else basically followed suit. Nissan had some excellent twin cams as well, but Toyota's really the company that brought twin cam to the masses. Okay, so let's look over at the auction sheet here, and then we'll go over the exterior and then the interior. And so it's a 1989, 184,000 kilometers, which is relatively high for a Japanese car, but it is an old car, and for an old car that's not that high. It's an original white. GT twin turbo is the grade. Delica is coming. Time to not get run over. Also, today is Odyssey Day. We had this one and that one come in within 10 minutes of each other. Ooh, Odyssey Day. Okay, so it has Fujitsu exhaust, that's the brand name of it. BBS 17-inch wheels, and they are quite aggressive fitment for this car, and I'll show you in a sec. Low down. Oh, aftermarket suspension. I don't know if I mentioned that. Aftermarket steering wheel, air filter, and shift knob. Headliner's dirty, and it is quite dirty. And then wheels are scratched, but the interior is really clean. Weird that the headliner is dirty, but the interior is clean. And then looking at the body here, it's generally really, really good. We got W2 here, which means repainted. Paint peeling up here. and then a dent on the back bumper. And so I'll show you those damages after we go once around the vehicle. I do want to mention, as we're going around the vehicle though, have a look. It has a sunroof plastic cover. You can kind of see there, which is really cool. But to have a better look, up here, there's a roof spoiler that is stock from the 80s, and it's not cracked or color faded or peeling or deformed or anything. I bet it's the only one in the entire world that has that, because that wouldn't have been a very popular option to option your car up with from the dealer here in Japan, I bet. And nowadays roof spoilers are pretty normal, but back then, pretty not normal. And boy, does that ever look awesome. I bet you if you found somebody that really, really wanted that, that would be worth a lot of money. But the thing is, not an awful lot of people really, really want those parts. And so, however rare it is, it's hard to say that it's going to be worth an awful lot of money, because you'd have to find exactly the right person to buy that from you. Okay, so Mark II, pretty common car nowadays. This isn't where they all began. The Mark II was a long-time Toyota favorite. I think that the Mark II turned into the Corona when they released it in the USA back in the late 60s. I don't know. Go Wikipedia that stuff. But yeah, a car that dates back to the beginning of Toyota almost, and then like a smaller version of the Crown. Yeah, twin turbo. Cool car. Cool little extra lights on the fenders there. Toyota didn't have to do that, but they did. Here's a good chance to look at the fitment. It's quite aggressive. You can see the tires come all the way right out, which is pretty crazy. They look like they rub a little bit because there's some damage on the tires, but looks really good. And a 17-inch wheel kind of gives it a classic look, while being a little bit bigger than what you would typically find on a car like this back at the end of the 80s or early 90s, because these were considered more of a luxury car than a sports car compared to how they are now. Okay, so we ran out of batteries. I needed to go back to the office to get some more batteries, and so I'm shooting this video without remembering exactly where I left off, and so sorry about that. I do want to mention about the W2 on this door. So it's a slightly different color, but only very slightly. And then the auction sheet says the W2 continues on to the back fender, but to me it doesn't. Okay, and so on the way around, I guess we go. You can see the wheels. I think they look nice. It's part of the package to have a car that's this old, to have wheels from this generation. But then the owner was a little bit cheeky in having them be as wide as possible. And I don't know if there's spacers in there or if these are just lower offset BBS wheels, but I think that they look quite nice on here. And they're not too flashy, not too in your face, and so I think they're going to be appreciated by people. Let's go to the interior where a lot of the fun lasts, or comes from. I don't know what I'm saying. I ruined my momentum here by going to get some more batteries. And I got 4. I already went through 2 batteries today. I accidentally undercharged one of the batteries by taking it off of the charger early, and that's why I only got half of a car with 1 battery. Okay, so regular power windows, power folding mirrors here. You can see how that works with the push of a button. Pretty easy. Look at this. You want some more air inside your car? There you go. And I think Toyota kind of invented that, because I've seen it on a number of Toyota cars for about 15 or so years. I don't know if they still do it, but I haven't seen it. And then look again at this rear spoiler. Has a little air duct here, and so it kind of gives the impression that it's functional to improve the aerodynamics of the car. I quite like the look of that. And then it's transparent too, so you can see through. This is Mark II right here underneath. I don't know if you can see that. Mark II. Cool. It has Toyota burgundy interior, which is really cool. Same color as my dad's Celica. and quite like this color on the inside. It reminds me of road trips. Okay, seats are really nice for a car this old. The only thing is there's a mild cigarette burn right here. And then there are plenty of cigarette burns down in here. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Crazy. There's also some damage to the top of this and some screw holes that were filled in the dashboard. Now, it is really frustrating that these things aren't marked on the auction sheet. Usually auction sheets are better than that. Almost always they are. But the rest of the car is in such good condition that you can't really be that upset. I just took it for a drive actually to pick up the batteries to see how it drives. Drives really nice. Doesn't get very much torque until later in the RPM range. But boy does it look cool when you do that. Digital tachometer. And the vehicle doesn't sound very aggressive when you drive it. I guess that's part of being a luxury car. But you get that boost and it starts to feel good. Momo steering wheel. I love this dashboard. Pretty simple, but it has the climate control AC, which is kind of a big deal in 1989. Set your temperature like, I want 23.5 degrees. Nope, I want 25 degrees. And then you just press the auto button here and it turns everything on, and then it decides where it's going to shoot your air. One odd little thing is you don't have any controls for these ones here, but watch this. Ooh. I kind of want to do it in slow motion, and then you can press the buttons at the top. They're all along there. Toyota didn't have to do that, but they did. Thanks, guys. It really means a lot to me. This one here has been used. Obviously, it's been smoked in. Doesn't smell like cigarettes inside the car. Mystery button. Okay. Tape, CD, AM, FM. The CD player is in the back. It doesn't actually seem to do anything. And then this switch, I don't know what it does, but you have to pull it out in order to flip it. Looks like this light should come on when you flip it, but I don't know. It's a mystery. So shift's nice. Acceleration is good. Very 80s turbo lag style, even though there are two smaller turbos. And that's the point of having the twin turbo, is to give it two small turbos, meaning better chance of it spooling up faster, but it doesn't spool up fast. There's the super dirty roof liner or headliner I told you about. Into the back. Not into the back seat. Come on. Come on, locks. Let's try that. Okay. Get your fun red inside here. You get nice high plush carpets. It says Mark II over here. So then you can prove to your friends that you got the real JDM hotness, and they don't. Air purifier in the back, as well as big speakers. Into the trunk. And while you're opening the trunk, you can look at the beautiful roof spoiler this car has. It came with some parts in it, but the trunk is huge in this considering the size of the car. And then spare tire on the side, like other Toyotas. Actually, the JZX90s had that as well. Comes with a catalytic converter for all you catalytic converter thieves out there stealing my, I don't know, what precious metal is inside there? Platinum? Stealing my platinum. Don't do that, please. Okay, so I gotta go back to the office and stitch this video together and then wait for it to render for half an hour. Oh, I forgot to mention this. Here's the peeling paint that is on the front that the auction sheet states. And then it also says that there is an A1U2 on the back. Let me show you that. I don't know. Doesn't look that. Oh, maybe they're talking about this peeling off? I don't know. I don't see any dent on the back. Oh, I quite like these taillights. See how they have those extra boxes inside. And the plate has to go with me. Sorry. Ah, very Euro car-like. Pioneer stereo. That's cool. Okay, end of video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and have a nice day.